Have you ever felt like no one takes you seriously? Like people talk to you differently. They pay you no attention, or they don't treat you with the respect you deserve. That's because they don't see your potential. They only see your current version. They only see what's right in front of them. The struggles, the stumbles, the moments of uncertainty. You're not weak. You're just underdeveloped. You're still in the process, still becoming. And that's okay. But here's the truth. If you want to be respected, admired, unstoppable, you must be locked in for greatness. You must be willing to disappear. Not from the world, but from the distractions, the noise, the fake validation. You must cut out the opinions that don't matter and commit to a season of isolation. This is the journey of going silent, to become the version of you that no one saw coming. The version that demands respect without ever asking for it. Stick with me till the end, because I'm going to show you exactly how to disappear, work, and come back unrecognizable. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why you must disappear. Disappearing doesn't mean running away. It doesn't mean hiding or giving up. Listen closely. It means you retreat with purpose. You finally say, no more distractions, no more noise, no more giving my energy to people who wouldn't lift a finger for me. You stop being available to every notification, every group chat, every toxic opinion pulling you back to mediocrity. You stop chasing validation. You stop explaining yourself to people who never truly saw you. And here's what most never understand. Transformation demands space. Not because you're incapable, not because you're lazy, but because real growth requires isolation. Pay attention. You want respect. You want power. But how can you build that version of yourself when your mind is constantly flooded with comparison and noise? Think of a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it disappears into the soil, alone, in the dark. No one sees it. No one claps. But in that silence, everything is happening. Roots, strength, foundation. And when it finally breaks through the soil, it's ready. You are that seed. You're not supposed to bloom in front of everyone. You're supposed to grow in silence. Yes, they'll doubt you. They'll think you've fallen off. They'll stop checking in. Let them. This isn't about being seen. It's about becoming. You disappear, not to escape, but to evolve. To kill the version of you that settles, that needs approval, that clings to comfort. And in that silence, you'll hear your real voice again. Not the world's, yours. The one that whispers, you are meant for more. This is where your life actually begins. In the quiet. In the grind no one sees. In the choices no one claps for. You disappear not to be forgotten, but to come back unrecognizable. And when you return, you won't need to prove a thing. Your presence will say it all. This is the power of disappearing with intention. And this is only the beginning. Chapter 2. The work that no one claps for. If you say you'll train at 6 a.m., train at 6 a.m. If you promise to start at 8, start at 8. No excuses, no delays. Because the little wins, they stack up, but so do the losses. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you build power. And every time you break it, you silently prove you can't be trusted. This is where most people fail. They say they're off the grid, but they're just hiding in distractions. Social media, calling it self-care, but it's just avoidance. Disappearing means nothing, unless it's paired with obsession. This is the work that no one sees. Wake up at 5 a.m. Not for the flex, but for the fire. Reading when others scroll, journaling while they numb, tracking every dollar while they chase clout. Saying no when your whole body wants to say yes. That's not weakness. That's warrior-level discipline. This is the grind. No applause. No likes. Just hard work. Silence. Missed parties. Sore mornings. Doubt screaming in your ear. And you show up anyway. This is where your future is carved. In the shadows. In the moments no one sees and no one cares about. The world doesn't reward disappearing. It rewards what you become because of it. They'll forget you. They'll count you out. Let them. Because one day, you'll walk into a room, and someone who thought they knew you won't even recognize you. Not because you bragged. Not because you announced your comeback. But because you radiate something they can't explain. Presence. Strength. Stillness. Earned in silence. That's the reward. Transformation without permission. No one's approval. No claps. Just relentless, private progress. So keep showing up, especially when no one's watching. Because it's in those invisible choices, those quiet battles, that your new life is built. Let them sleep on you. Let them question you. Because when the time comes, you won't need to say a word. Your results will speak. And that is the work no one claps for, but no one can ignore. Chapter 3. Most people won't understand you. Let's be real. When you start focusing on yourself, when you stop showing up to every event, stop laughing at things that aren't funny, and stop entertaining people who drain your energy, people are going to say you've changed. And they're right. You have changed. You stopped wasting time. You stopped overextending yourself for people who only notice your absence, never your presence. You stopped explaining your worth to people who never valued it in the first place. Pay attention to this. When you begin to evolve, you will outgrow people who are only compatible with your wounds, not your growth. And here's the thing. When you break patterns, you break connections. When you stop playing small, you make other people uncomfortable. Because they were never clapping for your success. They were clapping for your stagnation, for your obedience, for your silence. Not everyone can follow you where you're going. Some people were only meant to know the older version of you, the one who apologized for being tired, the one who stayed quiet to keep the peace, the one who begged for validation through likes, replies. Listen closely. When you shift your focus to yourself, to your goals, your mindset, your future, you're going to be misunderstood. People will say you're selfish. They'll say you're arrogant. They'll call you distant, cold, or even fake. But that's not your burden to carry. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. You see, people weren't in love with you. They were in love with your accessibility, your availability, your emotional labor. And when you finally put yourself first, that supply gets cut off, and suddenly, you're the villain in their story. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them talk. Let them question you. Because growth is supposed to confuse those who choose comfort over evolution. If they understood your vision, it would be theirs too. But it's not. It's yours. And that means you'll walk alone for a while. But walking alone isn't a punishment. It's a prerequisite. It means you're finally choosing peace over approval, elevation over validation, purpose over popularity. Let the old connections fall away. Because if they can't respect the new you, they were never really with you to begin with. Keep going, even if no one claps, even if no one understands. Because one day they'll look for you, and they won't be able to find the person they used to know. And that's exactly the point. Chapter 4. Come back unrecognizable. This is the moment that gives you chills. The moment everything clicks. You step back into the world, not to show off, but to show up differently. Not with noise, but with presence. Not with ego, but with earned energy. Listen closely. When you come back, after months, maybe even years, of grinding in silence, disappearing from the spotlight, ignoring the distractions, and investing every ounce of yourself into becoming better, you don't say a word. Because you don't have to. Your walk says it. The way you enter a room says it. Your body language, your energy, your stillness, it all speaks volumes. You walk differently. Your head is higher. Your posture stronger. There's no desperation in your stride, only direction. You speak less, because now your words are intentional. You're not looking for attention anymore. You're focused on alignment. You're not trying to prove anything, you're simply being. You move with power, calm, collected, certain. Because when you've built yourself in silence, you don't need noise to feel valuable. You know what you've done. You know who you've become. You don't flex your success. Your presence does that for you. Your discipline shows in your physique. Your consistency shows in your glow. Your ambition radiates from your silence. People will stare, not because you're loud, but because you've become impossible to ignore. Remember this line. You don't need to prove you've changed. They'll feel it. They'll feel it when you no longer chase. You don't need their attention. You don't crave their approval. You've tasted solitude and self-respect, and now, nothing else satisfies. They'll feel it in how you speak with purpose. No rambling. No explaining. Just presence. Just impact. They'll feel it in how you look people in the eye, without fear. Because the man who's faced himself in silence has already fought the hardest battles, and survived. This is what working in silence creates. A version of you that cannot be dismissed. A man who doesn't compete, he dominates. Quietly, consistently, unapologetically, you become undeniable. Not because of who you were, but because of who you chose to become when no one was watching. And here's the secret. The world respects those who respect themselves first. You stopped waiting for applause, and that's exactly why you'll hear it one day. You didn't come back for recognition. You came back unrecognizable, not to shock others, but to finally meet the man you were meant to become. A man whose existence commands attention, without begging for it. I'll leave you with this final piece of advice, my friend. So disappear, not to run from the world, but to rebuild yourself in private. Put in the work, when no one is watching. No likes, no followers, no applause. And then, come back unrecognizable, because sometimes the greatest revenge is simply becoming someone they never saw coming. Comment, I'm working in silence, if you're in this phase right now. And if this video spoke to you, share it with one person who's ready to evolve. Subscribe to Stoic Clarity for more. Because we don't chase attention, we build legacies.